A young politician, famous for her relentless efforts for justice and human rights, was unexpectedly murdered in broad daylight. The case shocked the political scene and revealed the deep-seated tensions within British society just as the nation stood on the brink of a historic decision. What led to this tragedy, and what truly lies behind the death of Joanne Cox? Don't take your eyes off, everything will be in this video. Joanne Cox, a rising star in the Labour Party, was elected to the Parliament of the United Kingdom in 2015. She was renowned for her unwavering passion and commitment to human rights, championing the causes of refugees, children, and women. Throughout her career, Cox remained a steadfast advocate for unity and social justice, embodying the principles she fought for with tireless dedication. On June 16, 2016, a tragic event befell this passionate politician, raising numerous questions about security and the political climate in England. This incident not only left many in shock, but also sparked deep concerns about the growing influence of extremism within society and the serious implications for politics. Joanne Cox was a member of the Parliament of the United Kingdom, renowned for her tireless efforts to protect the rights and interests of vulnerable groups in modern society, particularly in the United Kingdom. She courageously spoke out for refugee rights, fought for gender equality, and championed humanitarian policies. In 2016, England was in the midst of a heated debate over Brexit, with conflicting opinions surrounding whether the country should remain in the European Union. The impending referendum heightened tensions and polarization within society at that time. The controversies surrounding immigration and refugee rights became a focal point, creating a highly volatile political atmosphere. In this context, Joanne Cox emerged as one of the most beloved and vocal advocates, calling for unity and understanding among all parties. At around 1 p.m. on June 16, 2016, Joanne Cox was in the process of meeting with constituents in Birstall, a bustling small town in West Yorkshire. She was hosting an intimate community gathering where residents eagerly shared their opinions and concerns about political issues, particularly in the context of the upcoming Brexit referendum. The friendly and open atmosphere made everyone feel at ease as they interacted with such a dedicated politician like Joanne. Smiles and warm greetings from constituents created a sense of optimism, making people feel as if they were engaging in an enjoyable conversation with a committed representative. However, no one could have anticipated the tragedy that was about to strike just minutes later. As Joanne engaged in conversation with a small group, a man named Thomas Mayer quietly approached. His calm demeanor masked a chilling and deadly intent, setting the stage for an unimaginable act of violence. In a sudden and shocking moment, Mayer pulled out a sharp knife and a gun, attacking Joanne Cox in broad daylight. The once cheerful and optimistic atmosphere instantly dissolved into chaos. People stood in disbelief, unable to comprehend the brutal act unfolding before their eyes, as a politician devoted to her community's well-being had her life violently threatened right in front of them. As Joanne was mid-conversation, Mayer lunged at her with brutal force. Terrified screams erupted around them, shattering the usual calm of the day with a horrifying sound that echoed through the air. The attacker didn't act blindly. He shouted extremist slogans, reflecting the far-right ideology he supported. His hateful words weren't just directed at Joanne, but also symbolized his fierce opposition to the values she stood for. His actions were a shocking political statement, one that no one could have anticipated. After the attack, panic erupted. Witnesses quickly rushed to intervene and tried to assist Joanne Cox. Some immediately called the police and ambulance services, triggering a rapid wave of response. Within minutes, law enforcement arrived on the scene to take control of the situation, while the ambulance team hurried to provide emergency care to the young politician. Despite being rushed to the hospital in extremely critical condition, Joanne Cox could not survive. The cause of death was determined to be the result of the wounds being too severe from the attack. The sudden death of Joanne Cox shocked the entire nation, ringing alarm bells about the rising tide of political violence in modern society. The heartbreaking images of a dedicated politician's final moments still haunt the minds of many, leaving a deep wound in the public's heart and raising serious questions about the future of politics in England. Thomas More was born in 1963 in a small town in northern England. He grew up in a middle-class family where his parents worked very hard to care for their household. However, More had an ordinary childhood like many other children, but from a young age, he was a withdrawn child, often spending time alone rather than playing with friends. This lack of social connection may have contributed to the development of his psychological issues later on. In his family, he did not receive psychological or emotional support to develop positive social relationships. Instead, he often witnessed arguments and discord between his parents, which negatively affected his outlook on the world around him. More was exposed to political ideas at a young age. He began seeking validation for his views from extremist materials, which only caused him to sink deeper into the distorted beliefs he had nurtured for many years. When questioned by the police, friends and acquaintances of More described him as a conservative individual who preferred to keep his distance from society and often sought validation for his extremist views. He had connections to extremist organizations and was believed to be linked to groups that supported fascist ideologies and extreme nationalism. These organizations often propagated the superiority of the white race and opposed cultural diversity. More's involvement with these organizations was closely related to his motive for attacking Joanne Cox, whom he saw as a symbol of the multiculturalism he opposed. Research and reports on More indicated that he had followed and engaged in the activities of these organizations, demonstrating a deep connection to extremist ideologies. In November 2016, the trial of Thomas More began, drawing a great deal of public and media attention. The proceedings took place in a tense atmosphere, as many people wanted to see justice served for the heartbreaking death of Joanne Cox. The evidence, including testimonies from several witnesses at the time and documents that had been collected, was presented in court, shedding light on the brutal nature of the actions he had committed. During the trial, Thomas More displayed a cold and unremorseful attitude. When questioned about his attack, he refused to offer any comments or defense. He insisted that his actions were justified and showed a sense of arrogance about what he had done. More's testimony shocked and angered many in the courtroom. He showed no remorse or regret for the death of Joanne Cox, which further underscored the psychological issues and extremist ideologies that influenced him. His defense attorney attempted to argue that he had psychological issues, but this was insufficient to mitigate his charges. The jury carefully considered the serious nature of the case, especially in the political context in which the attack occurred, and decided to convict More of the brutal, premeditated murder. On November 23, 2016, Thomas More was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. This verdict was based on the political nature of the case, indicating that his actions were not merely a common murder, but also a manifestation of the extreme ideologies he pursued in society. The judges reacted strongly and emphasized that such actions are unacceptable in modern society, stating that severe penalties are necessary to deter and warn against similar individuals and behaviors in the future. The murder of young politician Joanne Cox sparked a wave of shock and mourning throughout society in England. Politicians from all parties united to condemn the acts of violence, asserting that this was not merely a personal crime but an attack on the very foundations of democracy. Many memorial services were held, where people came together to honor Joanne Cox's contributions and condemn extremist ideologies. This strong sense of unity was clearly reflected in demonstrations calling for an end to violence and respect for diversity in society. The death of Joanne Cox also had a significant impact on the subsequent referendum on Brexit. Many feared that the political tension heightened by the assassination could lead to further violence in the future. The situation became even more challenging as the debates surrounding Brexit were influenced by a sense of insecurity about the future. After Joanne Cox's death, the Joanne Cox Foundation was established with the aim of continuing the humanitarian efforts she had dedicated herself to. This foundation focuses on supporting community initiatives and raising awareness of cultural diversity, serving as a means to remember and honor her legacy. Additionally, Joanne Cox Day is held annually, providing an opportunity for people to come together to remember her and encourage activities that promote sharing and community bonding. This event serves as both a call for positive action and a reminder of the importance of unity and awareness in modern society. Joanne Cox was a remarkable parliamentarian and a symbol of compassion and dedication to the community. Through the activities and values she pursued, Jo demonstrated the power of human connection. This tragic case is a painful lesson about extremism while reminding us of the importance of unity in society. Toxic ideologies can lead to violence, but it is solidarity and compassion that are the most effective ways to build a better, more peaceful future. Thank you all for taking the time to watch the video. The story of Joanne Cox and the values she represents truly deserve to be shared. What do you think about this case? Please leave your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to follow more shocking cases. Goodbye and see you in the next video.